Hello everyone, we're back. Premium player after a few weeks hiatus. Mindy was unfortunately ill. Cheltenham and Wedding put plans to a few podcasts, but we're back. The gap is closing, as you can see on screen there. Now 120k, Mindy 93k. I think is only 17 points behind. So looking forward to the running. Should be nice and exciting. Being down in your levels for the running is something that I've done on purpose just to make it a bit more exciting for the listeners.
Yes, it has been a long time since we recorded, hasn't it? I forgot how daunting it is having to spend 50 minutes talking to you. Yeah, I'm sure I'll get acclimatized once again. It doesn't get any easier, like in terms of knowing what to do. I feel like just the doubles, the blanks, the free hits. We still don't know when all the games are, do we? Like, there's still games to drop in places. So, yeah, it's a season of look. I kind of am looking forward to it being over a little bit. As challenging as it's been good that everyone's used their chips differently this season. Most seasons, there's only like really one or two methods, isn't there? People go one or two ways. Whereas this season, it's like people have done all sorts, which has been fun, but also it's a bit annoying having just so many permutations to think about. How have you found it?
A bit too much for your brain, isn't it? All this stuff. I found it different. Found it exciting. Obviously, the last few weeks have kind of helped with my motivation towards the game. Obviously, rise from 300k to 100k. So I think that nice little turn of, was it the 26 wildcarders, that people that went early? I was one of them, and that's kind of paid off really, which has made it a bit more exciting. So probably from where I was in my position, then these extra permutations have allowed me to get back in, maybe. Whereas in previous years, like you say, not much movement towards the back end of the season. So yeah, I actually think it's probably worked in my favour from the position that I've been in. Hopefully, can keep it up now for the final 7 game weeks of the season. So yeah, it should be exciting.
But before we get into all the nuts and crannies of what's going on, how was Cheltenham?
Good, yeah. Lost a lot of money, but other than that, £7 a pint it was for Guinness.
Is that what you lost your money on, or did you lose all your bets as well?
Lost a bit on the horses as well, but mainly on the Guinness. I reckon if I went sober, I would have saved a lot. Well, obviously, clearly, I would have saved a lot more. Might have won a bit more on the horses as well with the clear head. So, yeah, I've heard rumours that you brought a wedding almost down to the ground. Is that true?
No, I saved the wedding. I made I brought the groom down to his knees, but everyone else had a great time. Listening to what I have to say. It's an interesting challenge, the best man speech, isn't it? Because you've got such a varied audience. You've got people that have grown up with the groom, and they obviously want to hear all the old stories. But then you've got like his nan and his mum who don't want to hear some of those stories. So you've got to try and find a happy middle ground, which has never been my forte. I kind of just like to go one way. So yeah, it was interesting. I think I messaged him this morning. His nan's still speaking to him, so
success.
Happy with that. Yeah. Yeah. Although, as I was saying to you off air, I think I might have dug myself my own grave in terms of if I ever get married. The WhatsApp group is already going through the old Google Photos archives from 2013, 2014, digging up old content. They're building an archive of what's going to be in mine already. I'm not even engaged. People are already out there planning my speech, which is I guess I got to take that as a compliment. That shows how good mine was. I've set a bar, and now people are trying to meet that bar.
Impressive.
Would you be? Is there many skeletons in your closet? If you get married, what do you reckon yours would be like? The one that you get from? Would it probably be your brother or someone? Would it?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, our close mate. Who knows? I'm sure there's plenty of skeletons to unveil.
I imagine maybe depending on how bad the forfeits get, one of them could make it in. That.
Oh yeah, I seen the costume. We better not digress too much from FPL, but I see the costume made a return, didn't it?
Yeah, it's gonna get its money's worth. I think that. Yeah, the water gun, which was planned for a forfeit, came out as well at one of the stag do's. It's interesting. The stuff that we're doing in the forfeits is multifunctional. But yeah, enough chit chat. So we'll get into what all the listeners are here for. So yeah, deadline is Saturday this week, so we don't have to panic on Friday. All the teams are back playing. No blanks and stuff. Good to be back with a full week, a full slate of fixtures. If you're not following us already, premium_FPL, Instagram and Twitter mainly. And yeah, if you listen to this on the podcast app, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube as well. And if you're listening on YouTube, please drop us a like. And yeah, the more likes we get, the more likely you are to see ridiculous forfeits and Callum in dresses and me having various spices forced down my throat. So yeah, there's your incentive. Do you want to go through the running order?
Yeah, just a quick review of the international break. Not too much. Obviously, teams have qualified, but I'm trying to think of noteworthy injuries. Maybe the one that we'd talk about is, was he injured or not? Trent. There's rumours that a few conspiracy theories going around. So yeah, maybe what to do with him. If you've not seen the news early today, he's back training, and then the other popular options who are not available. So Jimenez 2-game suspension now because he's already sent off early in the season. Ramsdale still not fit apparently, according to Arteta. So there's a couple of dilemmas there. We'll rank the top transfer targets. I've got a chart there from TED Talks, and yeah, when to use your remaining chips, which most people it's free hit, isn't it, and potentially bench boost. A few people still having the wild card, but yeah, we'll talk about the free hit in detail, won't we? And then we'll obviously talk about premium planning.
Yep, sound. Let's get into
it. So it feels like a lifetime ago now since the last game week. This is my score, 48 points. Not too great. A small rank drop to 124 where I sit now, from 110. As you can see there, won't talk about it too much because obviously it's quite a while back. Sarr, Tierney, Doherty, Coutinho, Marcelo didn't play. Saka, Kulevski, Kane. Kane was a big standout, wasn't he? And then Jimenez sending off, -2. So not too great there. I think you got 2 points below me, didn't you?
Yeah, this deadline was awkwardly positioned with the start of one of the stag do's that I was on. So I don't know
whether already. We're only 8 minutes in.
Rafinha, I think that Rafinha news, I might have done something with Rafinha if I'd been sober. But I'm happy to have Rafinha for the fixtures he's got these next 2, so can't complain too much. I think the main thing that was annoying was obviously Jimenez, as you've mentioned, and then Ramsdale not being able to play out of nowhere. Because it kind of made like Rafinha combined with Ramsdale, those two not playing. For me, it meant that people who I was competing against, like the free hitters, because they could have a decent bench, they can just pick whatever squad they want. So if they had people like that who didn't play, they've obviously got players on the bench that can come in. So it kind of exaggerated the benefit of the free hit, if that makes sense. So yeah, lost a lot of ground to free hitters. I think there was most people who free hitted had like an extra 20-30 points. So
yeah, it was interesting, wasn't it? People almost dismissed the free hit last week, didn't they? Majority saying it wasn't the right time to play it. But yeah, like you say, those who played it well, 20-30 points, like that is a success free hit, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but then if for people like me who were trying to manage through it, if Rafinha and Ramsdale had played and Jimenez hadn't been sent off, that gap wouldn't be that big. It kind of things conspired against the non-free hitters. I think, I would say that, wouldn't I? And then Son as well. Like there weren't many people who, because everyone's prioritized Kane really with the transfer. So I think free hitters being able to get Son in, that was a massive boost for them that he went off in that week. So they were my main sob stories of the week from last week. But yeah, one free hit left, so I need to try and make back more than those 30 points with that one whenever I use it. My rank is now 93k, I think, or 97k, something like that.
Is that a drop?
93. I think it is. It must be a drop. Yeah. I've dropped from 81 to 93, so not too bad considering I didn't play any chips. Or I've saved the transfer as well because I forgot to make it and was too drunk.
I looked at my rank just before I ever this week. Obviously, red arrow, but before that, I had six green, so I was in good form before. Yeah, the free hit last week. So hopefully, get back to winning ways, as they say. We'll move on to if my laptop works. Yeah, so this is just the news earlier that you put in. Trent apparently back in full training. I actually said before the international break that there's no way he's injured.
Probably right. So I missed all this rumor stuff. What's the rumor then?
So Klopp said it. So he pulled out the internationals, didn't he? He was called up by England. Pulled out. I think it was a hamstring injury or something. Potentially out for 4 weeks, and then it was a race against time whether he'd be back for the City game next week. But a few skeptics out there, I was one of them, was like probably just resting him really for the running, because he's after Van Dijk, he's probably the next key player, isn't he, for Liverpool? You could argue Salah, but with the backup in Diaz, I don't think the drop off is as much than if Liverpool had to play Joe Gomez there. I think so. You could argue that. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether he's back against what I think was it 300,000 people have already taken him out.
Right.
I think he probably won't play against Watford just because that game they should win anyway. Saving for the Champions League and then City off the back. So yeah, I don't know what you think about it, but I'm not going to take him out. I don't think.
I assumed he was injured. I wasn't as cynical as everyone else. It seems a bit. So I was leaning towards keeping him anyway, just because I guaranteed want him back. When a player's only out for like 1 or 2, I do tend towards just keeping them and finding a way of, because otherwise it's 2 transfers you're using, and especially at this time of the season when we've got 8 free transfers left or something, using 2 to get in and out a player you're going to want, it just seems a little bit wasteful. So, but yeah, if he was out for what if he was out for 2 weeks and Klopp's just like, yeah, he's not going to be back till after City, what would you do then?
I think then you probably got a decision to make, haven't you? Because obviously missed the Watford game, City, and then 33. Is that when Liverpool blank, or is that the double?
Do Liverpool blank in 33?
Well, Liverpool play United, don't they? Well, other teams double. Yeah, so that's the FA Cup week, isn't it? Yeah, because they play the Tuesday. So yeah, that potentially, if he's a race against time for the City, then you're not getting for Watford, not getting from City, and then United. You could argue United's an easy game now, but yeah, but I just think with the price that you've got on him, I mean, he's 8 million at the moment, isn't he? So you're losing a lot there. But I just think there's more fires to burn out than Trent potentially.
Yeah, I think if you've not got Robertson, the temptation is there, isn't it? To just
I think because I've got Robertson anyway. Yeah, potentially if you haven't got Robbo.
But yeah, I think if you do that, you have to just know that you need to get him back straight away somehow. But yeah, I think with the way I was saying before, being conservative with it, I'd still, if it was 2 weeks, I'd still probably just hold him and find. I don't have Robertson. I'd probably do something else. I'd find a way to get Robertson for somebody else. Even say for example Rudiger. I've kind of gone off him a little bit because of the his he likes to run page forwards, and everyone goes on about there's the chance of him getting something from his ridiculous runs and all that, but it's a bit exaggerated. It's not like he's like Cancelo, or he's not at that level. So I think I'd move someone like Rudiger to him or something, or I'd look for another way and just keep Trent there, and so you don't have to worry about getting him back. And even someone like Doherty, maybe I'd do that rather than get rid of Trent. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. If it's longer than 2 weeks, though, then yeah, it's a different conversation. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. So the other players that are a lot of people have got who we're not really sure about is the keepers like Ramsdale and Dubravka. Well, that's quite a popular pairing. I have that pairing. So if they're both out, I've got a decision to make there as well.
You don't want to be taking a keeper out this time of the game, do you?
But then when you look at how many games Burnley have got, like could Pope actually be worth a hit with the amount of games they've got coming up?
Potentially,
so, yeah. That's something to think about. Again, it depends if it's just going to be one game, because Ramsdale is probably the best keeper. I'm not going to get rid of Ramsdale because Arsenal have got Arsenal like one of the best teams for fixtures and doubles. So yeah, it'd be Dubravka to someone if they're both out, and Pope's he's not that cheap really either, so it's a tricky one. But you could argue there's upside there with the amount of games that Burnley have got and the way that Pope can rack up points whenever Burnley get a clean sheet. So yeah, it's something to think about. With the teams that have extra games to play, I think Leicester are another one. I think there might be people who look at like Schmeichel or Pope if they haven't got if they're a bit stuck for keepers like me.
Yeah, keeper one's an interesting. Obviously, the other player is Raul Jimenez. I think you've got him as well. 2-game ban. So I believe he misses the next 2, and then clearly misses the next 2, and then Wolves blank in 33. So he's not playing again until the 24th of April, game week 34. So I think that's an easy sell for him. It's just whether I think Weghorst is obviously standing out with the fixtures that come in. Obviously, Burnley aren't lighting up the league too much at the moment. I think the only other option for me is downgrade him to like Gelhardt and get your defense up to Cancelo or someone or Robbo, like you said. That could be the option there, I think.
So yeah, that's the dilemma I've got. I was listening to Black Box earlier, and hearing Az go through the team data for Burnley really did not fill me with confidence of getting Weghorst in. Just there's players. I think I saw a tweet like there's players like Jacob Murphy at Newcastle and Rondon have like a better expected goal involvement than. I mean, maybe it might have been a piss take tweet, but you get the idea. Just Burnley they're just not creating chances, and he's not getting on the end of things. It's essentially the only positive is the amount of games. There's nothing else there. There's nothing in his stats. So there's nothing in his form or on the eye test where you're like, right, something's coming from Weghorst. It's just the doubles. So I'm kind of leaning towards what you were saying. I think I might get someone like even like I think Mateta might be an option. People are talking about because Vieira keeps playing him over Benteke and Edouard.
Yeah.
He's not getting the full 90, but he's just going to be on my bench. I think I'm only going to be playing Kane most weeks, and so yeah, I'd do that maybe, and then as you were saying, big at the back, get Cancelo, have money for Robertson, have money for James. I want him back if Tuchel says he's fit. Like, I think that's what a lot of people are going to be doing, especially with the doubles that City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal are going to have, and the point scoring potential of the big defenders from those teams. I think there's going to be a lot of people moving to that for the end of the season. And if I get Weghorst, it's just because it's an easy move from Jimenez. I then might be stuck later on in terms of funds to get, because I've got money tied up in my forward line, which I don't want. So it's a tricky one. I know what you mean. It's an easy transfer, very close to Jimenez, but then you've got to think about like where you're going to want your money later on.
Yeah, I get that, but sometimes you just don't have to overcomplicate. I know how bad they are, but they've got 2 doubles in the next 3 game weeks, and then the other game week is against Norwich.
It's one of the doubles is game week 33, right?
Yeah.
Which, so some people might, I might free hit in 33, so I could get him in my free hit.
Change it. Yeah.
So, because the other thing is that if I do it, well, we're kind of ruining the when to free hit thing here. But yeah, I'm not set on anything by any means. But yeah, at the moment I'm leaning towards not getting Weghorst. I just think it just screams of falling into a trap, just falling into the double game week trap. But yeah, it's interesting that. It's interesting. It's good for the listeners. You've given your stance, I've given mine, and we differ. It's an informed, balanced debate.
Yeah, well, true. Well, this is a chart that TED Talks put together. So this is basically around the popular transfers in this week. As you can see, Weghorst there, he is pretty much bottom of all. when you take into account big attempts and small attempts, so small attempts go across the bottom, have people listening to the podcast, big attempts going up. Weghorst is left for small attempts, so he's actually lower small attempts than Reece James, Anthony Gordon, Ryan Fraser, Harvey Barnes, obviously Foden, Havertz, Coutinho, De Bruyne, which probably more expected. But yeah, this is probably supporting your argument, really. And interestingly, one man who fixtures are looking good now, and he's actually looked good in recent games, is Sancho. Sancho's top of the big attempts here of the popular transfers in, which I found was quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, United's attack has been all right recently. It's just they only do it for 30 minutes and then they give up, or they just concede too many at the other end. Or yeah, but Sancho's been quite consistent really since Rangnick came in. He's one of the positive stories of the second half of the season for United. But yeah, as you say, this data does not help convince me to get Weghorst. And if anything, it kind of shines a light a little bit on Havertz as well, doesn't it? Like Chelsea's fixtures are quite good. Havertz. The only worry is that Chelsea are also still in the Champions League and Lukaku's there. Havertz is the first choice striker now, but does that mean he's going to play more in the Champions League? I don't really know. It's a bit confusing. You can tie yourself up in knots sometimes trying to predict when the player's going to play, but
I suppose Chelsea's trickier, isn't it, than Liverpool and City? Because if they secure top 4, there's no way they can make a run at the title now, is there? So, yeah, I think you're right there. I think it's going to be trickier to kind of work out which Chelsea players are going to be playing as compared to, because I think Liverpool and City are going to go full throttle now. I think obviously Pep rotation we've talked about, Klopp not less so, but I think those two now are going to have to go full tilt at the title, play best, because they can't afford to slip up in any game, can't they? So I think they'll just grind the players to the ground, whereas Chelsea's a bit trickier, like you say.
I can't remember who I was listening to, but I was listening to something earlier, and they were mentioning that the Champions League games, like say for example, if Reece James is fit, that they might be games where Tuchel opts for the security of Azpilicueta for the tactical battle of a Champions League game, and then Reece James. Then, like, if people do gamble on Reece James being back and they go for him, they might get lucky and get him for all the Premier games. But it's a tricky one, that isn't it? You kind of go in with a sort of baseless theory, and you're trying to guess. It's a bit like Pep Roulette, kind of. You kind of trying to justify a decision.
Hopefully, a pattern might appear like that, like you say. Maybe like a Champions League and Premier League team might appear towards the back end of the season.
So is there anyone else that's like stands out to you on here?
I already own Kulusevski, but I think anyone around his marker, so he's like mid small attempts, quite fourth in the big attempts, but mid small attempts, but fourth in both actually when I look at it. But yeah, he's one who stands out. But I've already got him. I think you have too.
Yeah.
Coutinho, I've already got, but fixtures are stiffening up. Foden is another interesting one, I think, because people are going to want to get City players again.
Yeah. An interesting one for me is Cancelo, right? Because did something just stop playing in the background?
There's my Siri.
Oh, right. Cancelo, so I heard a stat yesterday. He's had 60 shots, but he scored once. Is
a goal.
Do you reckon he's still worth it? Because Laporte's a bit cheaper. He scored more goals than Cancelo this season. And with Diaz, how long is Diaz out for?
He's back. He's back now.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay. So yeah, maybe Laporte isn't as strong as an option. But is
Laporte
Cancelo
play anyway? Yeah.
Is Cancelo? Because a lot of his shots are like for 30 yarders, aren't they? And you can get sucked into this thing. Oh, he's shooting loads. Yeah, but how many of those is he going to score? Like if they're all these small, like look at his thing here. He's right. All of his attempts are really small. They're not like big.
But the thing is with Cancelo and Reece James, like the thing is they in one game week they could get 20 points easily.
But Reece James, if we're looking at this graph and the stats, it's more likely for Reece James because his shots are big attempts.
Yeah.
Like Cancelo's ones are all from 30 yards. He's not getting into the box as much as Reece James.
No.
Or when he is, he's laying it on to someone. He's like his assist numbers are good and so it's I think all of the parts of the season I've been terrified of not having Cancelo and I've wanted him in, but I'm a little bit unsure. I think for me, I'd rather if I was prioritizing I'd prioritize Robertson over Cancelo if I was like picking one at the moment. If I could only get one in, like where would you be on that?
Yeah, it's tricky because I already got Robbo, so I can't give a honest answer.
Have you got Cancelo?
Not got Cancelo, no.
Have you got plans to get him in? Because City's fixtures are.
Yeah, I think if I do Jimenez to Weghorst, then I think I've got enough for Tierney to Cancelo potentially. Whether I do that or not, because Arsenal's fixtures are quite good.
Yeah, you don't want to be losing your Arsenal, do you?
No, but my other defenders are Doherty. Don't want to lose him because Tottenham have got some great fixtures. Rudiger, who you've put a seed of doubt in my mind, potentially him. But I think if I was going to move Rudiger on, it'd be to James. It won't be to someone else from another club. And then Trent and Robbo.
Yeah, so the thing with Rudiger is that we've seen that he's not as nailed as we thought. Or it might just be a blip, but he did miss one where
he missed one against Norwich, didn't he? I think
nobody saw that one coming though. Everyone thought he was nailed for both. That's why everyone captained. That's why a lot of people captained him in that double. So if he's not got attacking threat and he's not actually as nailed as we thought, should we be prioritizing him over people like Cancelo and Robertson, who as you've said, Liverpool and City are going full throttle. They're just going to grind the best players into the ground, whereas Chelsea we don't know. So yeah, it's it's quite a tricky one to rank the big defenders. The people who get it right and fall on that right side of it will it'll be one of those.
I'll let you explain the next side. So this big dilemma is around chips, isn't it?
Yes.
Mainly the free hit.
So Gameweek 33 is a popular week 2 free hit, and then there's because of the double, and then also the double that's going to be in 36 and 37. So essentially, it's trying to work out because it'll affect all your transfers. It's working out when are you most likely to want to do it. So I think I'm leaning towards 33 because City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal are likely to double in 36, 37. And I'm kind of want to bring in players from City, Liverpool, Chelsea anyway now. I want to bring in Cancelo, Robertson, etc. like this week if I can. So it kind of makes sense to use my transfers to get those in and not have to, and then I don't have to free hit in 36, 37. And then 33, for example, in Man United double, I can just get players like Sancho, Ronaldo, Fernandes, or whatever. And then I won't want Man United players for the rest of the season. So it kind of makes sense to free hit them in, and then they're out, if you see what I mean. That's the pros and cons. But the cons of that strategy is that if I free hit in 33 to bring in all the doublers, there's a lot of teams with a great single game week. So City and Spurs have a good single. And also, one of the cons. So this little chart for people who aren't listening on people listening on the podcast, the chart that we've got up on YouTube at the moment is from the Fantasy Football Scout Burning Questions series. So it's Prass and Sonaldo who do like a new video, which is quite good on strategy. So yeah, I recommend checking that out. So yeah, it's from in their stream, so they'll explain it better than us. But essentially, it's quite a good way of looking at for your team when would be best to free hit 33 or 36 and 37. So with the way I want to attack the end of the season and the fact that I don't want to get a big horse, I want to prioritize the big defenders. I think it makes sense for me to free hit in 33 and then use my transfers to get in all the best picks for 36 and 37. So that's another reason why I was saying to you before I'm not thinking about Veghorst. Does it kind of make sense to you now I've explained it?
Yeah, potentially, yeah.
Does it? You got a free hit left as well, right?
But then, yeah, Veghorst isn't just for 33, is it? Like they do play Norwich in 32 as well.
Mm.
Yeah, I still have a free hit. I was always set on 36 just because I was told, well, from all the spreadsheet guys, that 36 is the best double. But when you load it up when you put it up like this, and yeah, potentially it kind of weighs in that favour. The only thing that will go against it is I've got triple Spurs at the moment. So does that say 36 there? They'll have a terrible double in 36, but great fixtures around then. So if you do wait until 36, you can kind of play that way. But yeah,
one of the things.
Go on.
One of the things they were saying is that there's no real clear winner. Like it's very sort of team dependent, and it's kind of it'll be different for everyone. Like it's been so far with every decision. It's really hard to like the pros and cons are kind of like the way they listed it. There's more cons for the Gameweek 33 one, but one of the pros they've got for free hitting in 36 and 37 is it says like option of getting the best 11 from the top four. So City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal. But because everybody wants players from City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, well, especially City, Liverpool, Chelsea anyway, I think everyone's going to be using the transfers to get those players in now anyway.
Yeah, but I suppose it's going to be tricky to get 11 from them unless you take a lot of hits.
Yeah, it's one to ponder. I'm gonna have to think about this over the next 24 hours. It's
yeah, I don't think it's going to affect my strategy this week anyway, because I know what you say about Veghorst, but I just think that transfer is obvious for me because Jimenez to Veghorst, no hit for once. Yeah, it's going to take a lot to. I think Mark.
I think maybe
Mark
if
from
I
Blackbox said it's an easy transfer and people overthinking it. He tweeted that today.
I think if I had Robertson and stuff and or Cancelo, that I feel like I need one of those defenders more than I need. I want to look at that. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how. It's good that we're both going to be doing different things. So if you might have caught up to me next week after Veghorst hat-trick and double.
Fingers crossed. The gap is tightening every week. So we'll finish off with some pro Veghorst news. Burnley's fixtures over the next 5 are the best. Obviously, this takes into account the doubles. So they play one extra fixture than pretty much the majority. Well, one extra fixture than everyone else. 2 more than a lot of teams as well. United second, Spurs third, Tottenham fourth, Arsenal fifth. Which, yeah, interesting. United are coming into a good run of fixtures now as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know about. I wouldn't be like that. That's one of the reasons why I want a free hit in 33 for that United double. So I don't really want the United players for anything else apart from that. So United's chances of getting the top four, it's not. I'm not sure what team he's going to be, how motivated the player's going to be, how much Maguire's going to be getting booed, all that stuff. Like, it's, yeah.
Interesting. A few of the teams at the bottom of that fixture ticker: Wolves, Leeds, and Villa. Obviously, people got Rafinha. Like, that's going to be interesting, isn't it? Because people are going to start to take players out from that team, from those teams. Maybe those who are playing the wild card this week or next week, they might get an advantage there.
Yeah, I think a popular strategy is going to be to wildcard in 33. Would it be? Yeah, because then that's when Leeds have 2 more good fixtures, right? And I think it's the same.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple of the other teams. So you can like dead end into that and then set yourself up for the last few. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a wild card right now, actually, which is a bad thing to be saying when I only wild carded a few weeks ago. Shows how that went. But yeah, that's how it is.
In terms of captaincy, then this week looks like an easy one, doesn't it? Salah, Watford.
Yeah, I think if he's fit, as long as Klopp doesn't say anything about him recovering from lasers to the eye or something, I'll. Did you see that? It was mental, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
there's always a story, from the African qualifiers that's just nuts. Like, they chased Salah out the stadium, aren't they? Like, yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure he'll be fine though. So yeah, Salah captain. If there was any doubt or whatever, or if I had to go somewhere else, it would be Kane.
Newcastle, yeah. Quite straightforward this week, isn't it? Well, choice between two, but yeah, and 32.
I mean, you're big on Weghorst. You're not going to back your man. Big woot.
I mean, I'm bringing him in. I'm not captaining him.
It's a big differential. Like, you've got a chance to make up a lot of ground if he goes off.
The first game's against City, isn't it? So you're pretty much just getting one hit at it with Everton.
Yeah, you're talking yourself out of it now.
I'm not bringing him in for just this week. Like, look at his fixtures long term. He's got Norwich in 32, another double 33, Wolves 34, Watford 35. Like, surely he's getting a couple of goals.
It's going to be embarrassing if I bring him in after I've like slagged him off this much through the podcast. But yeah,
32 is when Liverpool play City. You're going to say Cancelo, Burnley?
Cancelo, Burnley?
Is that what you're going to say?
No, I was just going to move on to the next week.
All right, yeah. Liverpool City that week.
Would it be Kane against Villa?
Villa, yeah.
I think Kane's just in that. Even though Villa's not an easy fixture, I just think Kane's in that mode where he's in that vein of form where you can be happy to back him.
And then 33. If you free hit him, looks like Ronaldo, doesn't it? Or Fernandes or whoever you bring in for United.
Leicester double as well. I mean, Leicester have got Newcastle and Everton. Barnes or Madison, like they came good for people who brought them in on the free hit. We did mention that before, actually. That was one of the other casualties of not doing the free hit the week just gone. I didn't have any Leicester, and people who brought in Leicester assets did all right out of those players. I guess the only concern there would be Madison doesn't seem to be able to play too many games in quick succession, so you'd have to maybe look at Barnes. But yeah, which set of fixtures do you prefer, Leicester's or United's in 33?
Probably United just because they got Norwich at home.
Yeah, but then the other one's Liverpool away.
Yeah, true. But yeah.
Whereas
I don't know. Leicester... as bad as United are, I'd still be more confident captaining United player, and that would be the popular decision anyway, wouldn't it? I think. When I look at these fixtures, 33.
Yeah,
I'm actually the free hits tempting me. Just because the players with good fixtures are the ones that I haven't got. So, yeah, interesting.
What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, before we forget, we should maybe set some targets. Like, where are you? What's your, like, updated?
Well, a few weeks ago, it was 100K. But now I'm in amongst it. 50k.
50k actually target, right? I think that's the same as me actually. I think it'll be. Like, it just feels like there's so many people. Like there's so many good players now. I just think. I think even I'd be happy just to get into top 50k at this point. I think I was hoping at the start of the season to finish top 20k and beat my finish from last season, but it's going to be too hard. So yeah, top 50k I think is the same for me.
If I somehow get in the top 5k, then I'll be running around Manchester naked.
Wow, we're gonna have to clip that up.
There's no chance, surely.
I mean, if Fruit goes off and you captained him, I mean, what a story that would be. You'd have to get him tattooed on your ass or something for that, wouldn't you?
What, woot woot?
Yeah, one woot on each cheek.
All right, if I finish top 5k and Veghorst is the reason, I'll do it.
Amazing. But your girlfriend will love that.
I'll imagine that happens now. It's not going
to happen. To be honest, if that happened, like I'd be quite happy for you to finish top 5k and for that to happen, and you to like have the bragging rights over me all season if it meant you got root tagged tattooed on your ass. I mean, what did we say at the start of the podcast? One of the forfeits might end up making it into your best man speech. I'm sure if you got root tattooed on your ass, that would end up in your best man speech, wouldn't it? So it's all coming to fruition.
Not going to happen. Right.
What a way to end. So yeah, if you like hearing about tattoo ideas for Callum's arse, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Follow us subscribe on YouTube, give us a like, and if you've enjoyed listening to us, we wouldn't mind a positive review on iTunes if you've got an Apple device. And yeah, good luck for the week and enjoy the football being back. Final push. See you next week. Back to the regular programming.
See you then.